Good morning, everyone. So far, more of the same. Just whip around indecision. And just backing this up a little bit. In the middle of this trading range, top of the range, bottom of the range. That was that deeper retracement into some support and the whip around, and it's just continuing to consolidate within a smaller range. And you got this pivot high here and this pivot low here, which you can see on the hourly chart. And where prices are right now, they're in the middle of the range. Top of the range, if I could draw it out there, looking at the cues, and high and low has been back and forth, tight over the last few days. This morning's numbers look like maybe they could get things moving, but nope. Just whipped down and whipped up. And you can see my cursor. The lower right chart is the 24-hour chart, and you can see where they are. They're getting above this little area of resistance, but nothing of significance. So more indecision, more choppy price action, and we may have to wait till next week. I don't know. We'll see if things get moving, or tomorrow. More numbers, but just looking at the weekly chart, last week was an inside bar, went nowhere. And so far this week is inside last week's bar. That's just another way of looking at the same thing that I said. Indecision, it's going nowhere, and waiting to see which way things might break, one way or the other. Spiders, maybe you could say it a little bit stronger, but still look at the cursor at the top of the range, but into all of these pivots. Whipped it down, whipped up. It's holding for the moment. It's got a little bitty void. So this consolidation, if it can hold up here, for a while, maybe a little bit of upside, I don't think it's going to be something of significance. I don't see why it would be, other than maybe the coast is clear to tomorrow, and short-term traders just going to give it a shot, getting above this little consolidation here. It's been in this gap. So I guess we'll see. The congestion is right there, so it's not an attractive setup for the moment. Should be more encouraging about this, but look at the 20 and the 50, just relatively close to each other. 50 above the 20. They're both relatively flat. It's another way of visually seeing that not much is going on. Market's just waiting. So a little bit into the gap fill. SPX. So, however, let me just look at this. This little blip up really got, I guess, the bears a little uneasy, because remember, this number was way down here. Yesterday it was at 4,400, jumped 50 points up into the bottom of this congestion area, give or take. Now at 4,450. And, so that's the number. That doesn't mean that's what you should do. I mean, it's up here now. That's kind of close. And so is this kind of close. I don't think it's going up to the top, but look how tight it is. So I'm not calling either one of these a no-brainer today. That's for sure. Well, yesterday I said the bottom number was a no-brainer. It never got to either number, but the bottom number was definitely a no-brainer yesterday. But the futures here. So not a bad pattern. If we were looking at this and it was the end of the day, right? We could have a more of a view of like, okay, it's been wiggling for a few days, ping-ponging between the 20 and the 50 and a strong close. So the buyer's continuing to push up a little here. We'll see what happens, if it hits the 50, but in essence, it's gone from near the bottom of the range to the top of the range. So not a good place to be trying to get on board without some type of consolidation, because it's as if you're chasing and you're hoping is the momentum is going to continue to run to get a bit higher. And you got the 50 MA right there, which it hasn't been able to get through. I don't find this attractive either at the moment. For me, it's going to be more of a wait and see how this progresses. And from a slightly bullish point of view, the fact that this is holding up here, well, the reason it is holding up here is because interest rates you can see are red here, but the dollar is gapping up. That's up. And you can see the British pound is dropping. This is more of a pattern that could be like a gotcha situation. It's not quite at support yet, which you can see on a weekly chart. But again, I'm looking at if this was at the close and I saw something breaking down with a slight bottoming tail bar, I'd be looking for a breakdown bar failure type of situation. But this is just the beginning. It's not the end of a day. So I'm not sure what this is going to do, but you've got a few days going sideways and it's breaking lower. Right away, it's bouncing up a bit. So more hesitation there. The euro doing something similar. You can see it breaking the lows, and this is down near that pivot low. So that is at some support, more of a reason that could be a breakdown bar failure. I mean, you can see how this came down. But, interest rates down a little bit. So conflicting. It's indecision. You don't have the unification of, what could be two bearish influences on the market. So, and they're paying more attention to the interest rates than the dollar, obviously, this morning. And the interest rates being in this little range here, breaking below the range could fuel equities to go higher. But you can see, they whipped up here and came back down. So it's not a decisive break yet. It could just be another whip around the 30-year, which isn't looked at very much, but that isn't moving really at all. 5-year down a little bit, but like this is just indecision no matter where you look. Saying they raise rates, euro, and it's going down. Also, I don't know. It's kind of a lot of craziness going on in indecision. The Russell up here gapping above the high of a red bar. The regional banks yesterday were whipping around and down. So these are gapping up a little bit. They're in the bottom of this trading range. Are they going to break down? Are they going to, come back up here? It's just a tricky situation right now. And a whipsaw, you just don't know. But it's a situation like this definitely could be a whipsaw type of situation. We were looking at this yesterday, the equal weighted S&P. That's capping up a little bit over the high of the red bar. So initially, that's a bullish start on the daily chart. I mean, these are only dots, but gapping above the high of a red bar, suggesting higher equal weighted Qs. nothing there. Semi got these retail gapping up a little bit, similar pattern to the Russell there. That breakdown, so kind of in a little survival mode, or move up from that initial breakdown, and semiconductors gapping up a little bit, but into a mess. Oil going up. Of course, airlines have been getting destroyed. They're coming down to major support. They could begin to stabilize just because, the support that they're at, but they've been killed with this move up in crude oil, which is, you can see, continuing to move up, but the markets are brushing that off for now. As always, look to the left. It's got room to get to those pivots. Why the market doesn't care? I don't know. I don't know. Gasoline going up because maybe they look at it as a belief that is there a stronger demand for oil, or is the supply shrinking? Well, we hear about Sleepy Joe going to the reserves, but refuses to pump some oil. I'm not going to get into that. Dan will get excited and start ranting, and then I'll join him. All right. But it's a weird time. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin was up a little bit. Here we go. There was that breakdown onto the 200 and this low. So this is basically, you see this giant mess, you just, go to a higher time frame. And, we got a trading range here for Bitcoin. Maybe it looks like it could bounce off the bottom of the range. Maybe that's going to help the markets a little bit. How is this related to FXI? China? I don't see it's related at all, photo guy, to China. I mean, it's the same thing, indecision. Look at that weekly chart. It's in the middle of the range. It's going nowhere. It's like the world is doesn't know what the hell to do. Let's see here. These are, you can see some other ETFs, aerospace and defense, tanking. I'm looking for something else here. UK, a mess. France, teetering on a breakdown. Germany, right? You can see here, downtrending to breakdown. And look, Euro stock 50. That's been going down for a while. It's under the 200 MA. Other moving averages declining. And this one here, euro, because of the dollar going up, euro hedged, holding up better. So, I mean, it's not a good situation. Internals, and we already, here's your S&P here, but internals here, sentiment is staying bearish, breadth is neutral. So we don't have something decisive from there. The volatility index is down here. Being low doesn't mean it has to go up, but it generally means it's probably not going to go a lot lower, but it can stay low. We already looked at oil, the dollar. Gold is holding up relatively well. I didn't look at it this morning to see what it's doing, but it's down a bit. But the way the dollar went up, it's just going to the bottom of this range. That's not going anywhere. So no matter where you look, it's like indecision. You got the transports. I mean, some of them were up yesterday. JB Hunt was up. I don't know. I guess there was news on that, but the transports don't look good. They're getting closer to support. I always like to look at Dow transports here. That just whipped around yesterday. This looks kind of like JBHT. So I don't know what the news was yesterday. I just didn't look. Rails, a little breakdown failure. So a little bit of encouragement there that these weaker transports, showing some stability or lack of follow through to the downside, but nothing decisive yet. And mid caps, we usually don't look at them, but it's down here near these prior lows. So who wants to be selling near prior lows unless it's actually breaking down? And that's not happening, but it's just stabilizing at a point where it stabilized before. So that's the simplicity of just looking to the left and not trying to make sense out of any of this with esoteric indicators and clouds and Elliott waves and all of that. Maybe some Elliott waves and fib extensions and planetary alignments would make it more interesting than just recognizing the indecision that's going on for the moment. But it is what it is. We got the Fed announcement, which no one expects anything for next week for them to do a damn thing. So, and they don't know what to do. They're indecisive, waiting for more information. So keep the powder dry. Probably credit spreads are the way to go. Things aren't moving, but we see some, we scan for patterns and we find individual stuff, and that's what we do. All yours, Dan.
That comment that even if we don't have a bullish bias in a choppy market, we find beautiful setups all the time. Is sound okay? I'm on my portable mic. Good morning. All right, cool. Thanks. So yeah, let's just go through my big watch list. I don't have any earnings to speak of. There might have been one or two in here somewhere, but we'll get to it. So JB Hunt, Greg just mentioned, beautiful put spread. It's a sloppy buy setup on the weekly, but the turn is a 180. I like that. So it's a beautiful put spread. So if somebody wants to look where I keep going here. I just saw on the news that Caesars and MGM, they got hacked. They're going after ransom money, of course. Now, this actually was a very nice tradable little double bottom, and it went up 5-6 days. So this is a counter trend trade to a bearish weekly, but now with the breakdown, it's actually gapping up. But 30-minute low, that would be a call spread idea if there's any juice. PDD, beautiful igniting gap. Look at all these converging moving averages. And now it's just building a higher range base of support, gapping up. Bullish weekly. It's a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. Put spread idea, not a directional. You got the gap fill there and so forth. EXR, we shorted a half lot yesterday. Breakdown daily, weekly, monthly downtrends. W Whiskey, I am watching this for a couple weeks now. That's a beautiful buy setup in 180 on the weekly, breakout on the monthly. So I'm watching this for a core long entry. Gapping up here a little bit. Look at the 15-minute chart. that would be a great 30-minute high day trade. You know, target 73. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see how it sets up. Here, what do I have here? Meta. A couple of these fangs. I said yesterday before I left, if Meta closed strong, it's a bear sandwich. And look at the gap up, consolidating at yesterday's high. There's another 30-minute high day trade idea. Google broke out and is holding very well. Gap reversal, 20 above 50, uptrend weekly, monthly, gapping up today. That looks fantastic. Microsoft, 180 after this thing gapped down on the heels of Oracle. Now it's recovering. Big old base down there at the 50. So that's Oracle I mentioned yesterday was a put spread idea for Friday. Adobe's a mess. IBEX here. Oh, this one had earnings. Photo guy likes PDD. Yeah, PDD we just talked about. Yeah, John saying chop market. Absolutely. But as you can tell by everything I'm going over here, then if I keep it in my watch list, it's either an open trade or it's a watch list, and I've set an alarm until I delete it. So this IBEX is getting whacked here on earnings, but look at the downtrend, daily, weekly, monthly. SMTC gapping up. All right, this is I think this one had earnings too. Climactic buy setup 2360. It very well could set up as a day trade. I guess need to watch it in the first 30 minutes. All right. See, Bali, it doesn't have weeklies then, is what you're telling me. 1023. So that's, you know, we're at that cycle now since last week was option expiration, that we're now into monthly expirations. And you just got to decide, is this a pattern you think you can hold for a month? I did post one though for a month out. What is it? Toro TTC. Yeah, this one. Oh, Quad Witch and Friday. Okay. Oh, right. My bad. So JB Hunt does have options that expire tomorrow, but there's going to be no premium. Right. All right. So Toro, I did give the monthly 80s for a couple of reasons. One is, I don't know, you know, you take it or leave it. That's all they got. And number two, you know, I got a 3-bar turn. Today is what, Thursday? I made the entry over Tuesday's high. So it has to trade above the high of 3 bars. And the stop's a little bit, you know, I gave it under 81, you know, a little bit under this. And it's either going to work or not. And even if it doesn't work, the mere fact, if it just stays up here and chops around for a little bit, we'll make some money on volatility contraction and time decay. So this one I did, and I will do monthlies, but we just have to have more of a discussion of, is it worthy? Okay, ARM is the new IPO today. WBA alarm just went off. I've been watching this for a while. This is Walgreens. Look at that breakdown right there at 29.20. I don't know where we were that day, Glenn, but man, that was a beautiful short. Look, 100% retracement to this, 2 topping tails. Wow. And then that's just a cliffhanger. But I've been watching it. It's a real company. It's a Climo daily, weekly, gapping up here. Nothing to do yet, but it's on my radar. Joint. Potential bottoming pattern. Wow, look at that monthly. $110 down to 9. That's some pain. All right, I would have no interest though. I'm going to set a new alarm 9. Oh, it is 9. Oh, my alarm just went off at 9:76. All right, we'll come back to it. Starbucks CEO stepping down. That was a tradable retest pattern. Right on that green bar right there, that's your something closing breakout over 4 bars. That's a beautiful put spread pattern right there. You got your 4-bar turn on support. AMC movie theater. There was some news about them, raising some more money, but no pattern. Fizzler got an upgrade. All right, Fizzler. I mean, just a review for the new people here. These 3 charts on the right are just 15 or spiders up here, 5-minute chart. These are just whatever I decided to put here. Bottom left daily, bottom middle weekly, and that's my monthly. So notice how quick my eye can see all 3 of in upper left 15-minute chart just for intraday entry. So it's gapping up into a nasty red bar with a nasty weekly in a topping pattern monthly with a price void. So this has plenty of room to fall. So Sam, I don't have time to give you a quiz right now, but I'm going to set an alarm at 172. Why do you think I'm doing that? You can answer anyway if you feel like it. That's Pelletier, Fizzler, because if this cannot go deep into yesterday's bar, stays in the lower 50 or 40%, this could be our short entry. Yeah, or maybe even 30-minute low, anticipating it. We'll start off with a call spread. So let's oh, I had IPG down here. Let's put Fizzler there. I'm only on my laptop today, so I don't have the luxury of all my screen space. Look, IPG, remember we talked about that short yesterday? Look at that beauty. Another daily, weekly, monthly, all in alignment. Had this topping tail on Tuesday. It was its attempt. And then green bar on support and plunk. Alex, IAI. Greg, we might want this in the ETF. Look at IAI. Looks fantastic. Target 98 plus a little bit. So, that's one hesitancy. All right, TTC, see, is just hit my up alarm. So that we can sell the put. I see how my eye is glancing here. See on this little chart, my eye just can see so much. TEL, TEL, potential double bottom. My alarm just went off. It's not ready, but and so Alex, remember yesterday we also had a discussion of, you got to be careful on viewing patterns like this as a continuation short versus a breakdown failure and turning into be a double bottom. So that's a good example. Let's keep an eye on TEL. It does not have weeklies, or else over Tuesday's high, I would be all over selling a put spread. This alarm went off, ENVX. More long calls in this. And I just had a little up alarm because it's a 30-minute high, could be an add or a new trade. All right, let me continue here. Upper right, see spiders starting to come in a little bit. Pelletier, potential breakout of a bottoming pattern, but nah, there's much better to look at. FFIEs got its clock clean, potential double bottom, but it's, see the 4 decimal places means it's over the counter. Ford, we're long calls. We sold half at the high yesterday. I moved the stop. So let's get, I said, get out of Ford tonight because, you know, they got this UAW union strike going on. I mean, I don't know the details, so I shouldn't talk, but they sure seem like they are demanding a big old raise. I mean, never in my life have I heard a union say, give me 40% raise or I'm going on strike. Oh, okay. Do you want a check or cash?
Bidenomics. Yeah.
Yeah. And but something interesting to keep in mind, folks, we really have no idea how the stock's going to react because just use common sense. The board of Ford is representing the shareholders. So if they're fighting not to cave in to unreasonable demands, which equates to unreasonable expenses, which equates to lower profits for shareholders, then maybe that's the right thing to do. And so we just never know, how protracted it can get. Because it's boiling down to earnings, right? And that's the big unknown of okay, they go on strike. Have a good day. Have a good time. Why you're going to the beach without getting, whatever. They are getting paid through union dues, whatever. But would if the market currently expects a minor 10-day strike and it turns out to be friggin' 10 weeks? And then the cost of shutdown and startup and all that kind of jazz. You know what I'm saying? All right. Yeah. UNP alarm. Alex, this was yours. Climo, now red bar ignored. This will be a great 30-minute high trade. All right. Fizzler, I have an alarm, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of you because I'm short on space. UNP. I would love for it to go sideways here for minimum 30 minutes. And then, because that'll give us time to see what the broader markets are going to do too. All right, Rio, I saw the big gap, but now it's excessive. Riven, we are in already. We're long stock and short put spread. Toll, we have a call spread. My up alarm just went off.
And that wasn't listed yesterday.
What?
She told. Oh, it was a weekly. Alex asked me about it.
Yeah, that's there. Yeah, that's there. We only have 2 open positions, Toll and Riven. The Goldman I gave yesterday, and the URA we're long in the ETF letter. Look at that beautifulness. So this is a beautiful friggin' continuation pattern right here, folks. So it broke out, red bar, bottoming tail, closing at the high, gap up. That's when we gave it to our ETF letter.